Today, we are diving into the creation of some truly monumental art doors. A few months back, I embarked on an adventure to revamp my entryway, taking from this to an absolute stunning space. Now, I won't dive into deep into the nitty gritty here because I got a dedicated video where I spill all the secrets, and I have conveniently dropped the link in the description below for your viewing pleasure later on. Now, let's zone in on the focal point of today's project, the sports cabinet. Originally crafted to organize my husband's sports gears and gaming paraphernalia, today we are sealing the deal on this cabinet transformation. So, the initial blueprint involved crafting some intricate art pieces using hardwood, but full disclosure, a little mistake with my lumber order threw a wrench in those plans, leaving me scrambling for a plan B. And let me tell you, plan B came with its own sets of challenge, which we'll dive into shortly. Instead of price hardwood, I opted for a half-inch thick walnut and white oak plywood with an MDF core. Sure, it was a bit pricier, but it's beat the hardwood budget by a mile. Now, the downside of working with materials like this for intricate designs, as you are about to witness, at first, there is little room for mistakes since excessive sanding is not an option. And second, precision is key to ensure a seamless fit without wasting materials. What you just saw was me cutting the plywood sheets to serve as the backing. I won't bore you with the measurements and technicalities because, let's face it, this project is anything but conventional. Once the backing was squared away, it was time for the white oak, which would form the majestic mountains of our piece. After finalizing the design layout, it was time to commit and glue those bad boys down. And thank goodness for my trusty pin nailer, discreetly lending a hand in the gluing process with barely noticeable price pinholes. Now, while I thought this part was hard, the real nail biter was the walnut section. With no margin for mistakes and every cut needing to be near perfect, the pressure was on. Thankfully, everything fell into place without a hitch. Well, except for a few tiny imperfections that only the most perfectionist eye might spot on. But hey, let me know what you think of this so far. Would you have done anything differently? Comment below. Now, into the nerve-wracking task of cutting a 10 inches hole to accommodate our celestial centerpiece, the moon. Opting for solid maple this time around offered me some, let's be honest, a bit of room for mistakes. Using my router jig, I carved out the moon's perfect circle before eyeballing the placement on the walnut canvas. Due to my eyeballing decision, I had a slightly gap around the moon, but no biggie. I added wood filler and in the end I got a nice contour around and I thought was a very good character around the moon. One detail here, I didn't route all the way since I was dealing with veneer, so I left the maple a little bit high, enough that I can sand later on flush. Time to put them together and see how they look like before I go to the next part. It was time to draw the night sky, creating space for twinkling stars using 3 different bits for variety. And while I was exercising caution to avoid overcrowding, I thought more stargazing in real estate wouldn't have hurt in hindsight. I should have had more stars on this project. Trying to be as careful as possible when gluing to avoid glue on the veneer, especially to cut the dowels, and everything went well in the end. So glad. But with a bit more wood filler and a round of sanding, we smoothed out any rough edges. Attention turning to the finished touches. Opting to fill the sides with wood filler, I took a detour to paint the interior white, adding a crisp contrast against the celestial scene, a final sanding and the addition of hinges. I couldn't see the end of the tunnel for this project. I installed 3 sturdy hinges per door, ensuring a secure fit. For the finish, I used General Finish for the first time. I sanded between coats to give it a smooth touch. I probably would prefer using a foam brush or a pad like I always do, but I didn't want to go to the store just for that, so I just used my foam roller. And as a finished touch, a layer of wax brought out the irresistible luster, complemented by a quick polish. The installation was so hard. This part was probably one of the hardest parts in the entire project. The door was really heavy. I was trying to make a surprise for my husband, so I didn't want his help to install those doors. With the problem having the structure of this built-in, I built it in a way that looks like a wall with studs and drywall, so it was not as straight as I wanted. So that made it very hard for me to install those doors, and in the end it's not exactly perfect and square, but I'm very happy with how everything came out. Are you ready to witness the grandeur of this giant art piece gracing this entryway? you may ask, it's about the hinges. Are we going to add hinges? My plan was add hinges in the beginning, but my husband came home yesterday and the way he opened the door, he thinks it's very easy to open and he don't want me to add any hinges. So I guess for now, at least I'm not going to put any hinges. I'm going to leave it the way it is. I like. One side note is on this side, you can see some gaps because the studs, like I said before, it's not straight. So you can see some gaps around, unfortunately, but it's what it is. I could never make this perfect. Do you like this project? So hit the like button and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next project. It's going to be epic. See you guys in the next one.